And we are live. Let me pull the microphone over so you can hear me. So, welcome to Let's Talk About It for, what day are we on? Wednesday, the 22nd of May. So, there's quite a few things that I've got to cover. So, that'll be interesting. Let me just make sure this is going to work. Yeah, good. Okay. Right, so bear with me. God, right, so there's quite a few things to get through. And I'm gonna try and do in order of relevance, I guess. So the first thing that we should look at is Apple Safari 0-day flaw was exploited at Pawn to Home. So you need to patch now. Make sure the transition works. Yep. So Apple Safari 0-day flaw exploited at Pawn to Home, patch now. I mean, there's not much more to say on this, but Apple has released security updates to address a 0-day vulnerability in its Safari web browser. Is this going to go up there? That was exploited during Pawn to Home this year in Vancouver. So it's got a CVE 2024-27834. Was fixed by enhanced checks on macOS Monterey and macOS Ventura systems. The vulnerability in Safari WebKit is identified as CV 2024-27834, where an attacker with arbitrary read and write capability may be able to bypass pointer authentication. So I'm not going to dive massively into this, but update now. So update to latest patched versions of iOS 17.5, iPadOS 17.5, tvOS 17.5, Safari 17.5, watchOS 10.5, or macOS Sonoma 14.5 to mitigate it, basically. So Apple's released several upgrades for its iOS and macOS operating systems to start the May release cycle. The most noteworthy update, iOS 16.7.8 and iPad OS 16.7 addresses CVE 2024-23296. So if you're running those operating systems, update them to patch Safari. Put me back. Or we find the next one. As I say, there's quite a few of these. We've got, what's the next? Go on, open up. On this one, we have, if you're running Google Chrome, make sure it's up to date. So usually just closing Chrome and then reopen it is enough to do an update, but it's worth manually doing a check as well just to make sure that it is up to date. There's proof of concept exploit already released for this. Is this the JavaScript? Yeah, it is. So there's been 3 of these which impact the JavaScript V8 engine. So again, if you're running, it's just to do with the JavaScript. So you can read the technical breakdown on Bleeping Computer if you really want, but for the purposes of this live stream, just go ahead and make sure Chrome's up to date. FoxIt PDF reader is in the news once again, and it's not the first time that this has been an issue. Now, I do know a few companies that use it as well, so I believe you can just update to the most recent version. So hackers attacking FoxIt PDF reader users to steal sensitive data. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. So it has been patched. So make sure you're running the latest version. So researchers have identified a PDF exploit targeting FoxIt reader users that uses a design flaw that presents security warnings with a default OK option, potentially tricking users into executing malicious code. So the exploit is actively being used and bypass typical detection methods due to its focus on FoxIt Reader, a lesser-known PDF viewer compared to the industry standard of Adobe Acrobat. But it is used because it's cheaper, basically. And this is basically, if you can see it's on the screen, the default option is to open the malicious file. And once you do, the exploit grants attackers the ability to download and execute malicious code from a remote server, potentially giving them unauthorized access to a user's system and data. So again, FoxIt PDF, if you're using that, go ahead and update. This one's GitHub. So if you're running, this is a bleeping computer article. GitHub warns of SAML auth bypass flaw in their enterprise server. So again, just update. GitHub has fixed a maximum severity CVSS version 4 score of 10. So it doesn't get any worse than that. And it's authentication bypass vulnerability. The CVE for it is 2024-4985, which impacts GitHub enterprise server instances using single sign-on. So the vulnerability has been fixed in GitHub Enterprise Server versions 3.12.4, 3.11.10, 3.10.12, and 3.9.15, all released on the 20th of May. So if you're running GitHub Enterprise Server, you need to patch that. If you're running it, stop watching this and go away and patch it now, because 10 is as bad as we get. Wow, QNAP again. So at this stage, I don't really recommend that you run QNAP devices, or certainly don't expose them to the internet. It's not the first time that QNAP has been targeted. So proof of concept exploit released for QNAP QTS 0-day remote code execution flaw. Researchers were shown a proof of concept POC attack for a 0-day RCE. Use of QNAP's network attached storage devices, which are common both big and small business settings, are in grave danger because of this flaw. Yeah, we know what they are. Usually more than one you can access the device. Why cyber criminals want to get in, or the vulnerability. So the flaw made public CVE 2024-27130 is a Stack Overflow bug that can run code from afar without authentication. So if you just don't expose QNAP to the internet, if you are running it, make sure you're patched and on the latest versions, I assume. Oh. So, the flaw was not fixed at the time it was reported. Researchers told QNAP what they found and are now working to find the answer. So users should limit file sharing for now, monitor their NAS for strange behavior, and quickly install any available security updates. So there are proof of concept out in the wild for this. And they're on GitHub. So if you're running QNAP, I guess unplug it. I say I don't use QNAP devices. There's just too many security issues with them. Hi, Mark. Welcome back. Coming a regular on here. Thank you for your support. Just going through various things to patch. I'm trying to do my order of things that need patching first. What else did I have on here? D-Link remote code execution, 0-day. I've not had a chance to read some of these, or most of them, because DTX Manchester's been on today, which is where all vendors meet up, and you can go meet them while they try and sell you things. Anyway, this D-Link. So, what's this for? 2 critical vulnerabilities have been discovered in D-Link DIR X4860 routers, authentication bypass. So, exploiting these vulnerabilities together could lead to a complete compromise of the vulnerable device. And if that's your router, that's pretty bad. So even after reporting this vulnerability to the vendor, there seems to be no update on response from them. Researchers have publicly disclosed the vulnerability due to no response in the past 30 days. Yeah, unplug it. So authentication bypass due to incorrect implementation. Let me just see if there's any notes near the bottom of this. No. So it's fairly trivial to exploit. So if you're running D-Link DIR X4860 routers, go and plug them, find something else to use instead. Yeah. Not much better advice I can give you on that, unfortunately. Ivanti again. What's this one? Another proof of concept exploit released for Ivanti EPMM, which was previously Mobile Iron Core. So a newly disclosed vulnerability, CVE 2024-22026, has been found in Ivanti Endpoint Manager Mobile, formerly Mobile Iron Core. So this vulnerability allows a local attacker to gain root access to affected systems. So Ivanti has released patches to address this vulnerability in versions 12.1.00, 12.000, and 11.12.0.1. So if you're running Ivanti EPMM, it's strongly recommended that users update to the latest versions. So again, update software. So that's Ivanti EPMM, or previously Mobile Iron Core. Excuse me. There was a lot on this list. Might be here for a while. I don't know who these guys are. Maybe it's an American thing. I've never... Oh, it's... I'll cover it anyway. It's in the news, so we'll cover it. Vulnerabilities in Cinterion cellular modems threatened IoT and industrial devices. Ah, right, okay. So they're... Wow. Researchers from Kaspersky have discovered 8 different vulnerabilities in the Telit Cinterion cellular modems. So given the use of these modules in the industrial sector, researchers further vulnerabilities pose a severe threat to industrial networks and IoT devices. Heap overflow, unauthenticated, CVSS 8.1, improper privilege management. One requires physical access to the target device. So there's not much you can do to... So as a general mitigation for CV 2023-47610, the researchers would advise telecom operators to disable SMS delivery to vulnerable devices and to use private access point name. Restrict physical access to vulnerable systems and keep systems up to date. So if you're using industrial controllers, Something to be aware of, I suppose. Okay, this one sounds interesting. Millions of IoT devices vulnerable to attack leads to full takeover. Research have discovered 4 significant vulnerabilities in the Fruitech Calais platform. I'm not familiar with that, which powers 100 million IoT-enabled devices. Yeah, not familiar with that. Fruitech Calais' influence emphasizes the importance of protecting homes, companies, and integrators alike with its presence in security cameras and other devices. Okay. Oh, the affected cameras are the Roku Indoor Cameras SE, WiseCam version 3, OLED Cam 1 and 2. When combined, the identified vulnerabilities allow for both remote code execution to fully compromise a victim's device and unauthorized root access from within the local network. From within the local network. When chained together, unauthorized root access from within the local network as well as remote code execution. So it is local network. Everybody always like, yeah, the sky's falling again. But it is local network. So the Roku Indoor Camera SE, WiseCam version 3, OLED Cam 1 and 2 have been identified. So Bitdefender reported these vulnerabilities to Frotech, is that? On October the 19th, 2023, and they've been patched. So if you're running those, update them to the latest versions. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open to local attacks. So millions of IoT devices, vulnerable attacks if someone's on your network. That's probably what the title should have read. Oh God. SonicWall. I didn't see them on my list when I put this together. SonicWall SSL VPN exploit advertised on the dark web. Dark web is seeing the release of a new vulnerability that targets SonicWall SSL VPN devices. Recently, exploit which lets people enter private networks without permission. The news was first shared by a well-known hacking group site, Daily Dark Web, on their official Twitter account. So criminals could get around security measures and into private data systems if the exploit is used. Experts are quickly trying to determine what this vulnerability means for SonicWall. So SonicWall are a well-known manufacturer of security products and routers and things. Because the exploit is on the dark web, there are big worries about how broad cyber attacks could be, especially against businesses and institutions that use SonicWall's SSL VPN. And I imagine there's a fair few of them. Urgent response from the cybersecurity community. Experts in hacking reacted quickly to the news, telling companies they need to protect their networks immediately. Some suggestions are to use the most recent firmware. I mean, you should always have your devices on the most recent firmware, but if it's not... So SonicWall hasn't publicly commented on the exploit yet. Will likely soon provide advice and patches to fix a problem. Yeah, so I guess what you can do there is to update to the latest version. In fact, because... Is there anything else on that? No, I can't see. Do we have a CV code? No. Yeah, I've not got more details on that, and I can't find much more on it. Yeah, patch him, update him to the latest version. Cross your fingers, I suppose. I can't see anything, any update on this. Okay. This is actually on Reddit. Shocking how many of you are not posting about this huge issue with SonicWall, considering their SSL VPN has been under state agency attacks for weeks now. They literally have a firmware update that requires contacting them to get it currently. So if you're running it, contact SonicWall. Apparently they have a patch for it. That's pretty bad. So I was just reading silly comments on YouTube on there. Yeah. So if you're running a SonicWall device, contact them and ask them about the vulnerability, and if they've got a patch available for it. What are we on next? Told you I might be here for a while for this. Okay. If you're running Apache Tomcat, I don't really use it myself, but it is popular, and I'm sure people will be using it. So, Kinsing malware attacking Apache Tomcat servers to deploy crypto miners. So, obviously, it's Apache Tomcat, so it's a Linux vulnerability on cloud servers to deploy backdoors and crypto miners. Recently expanded its target to include Apache Tomcat servers. I imagine this is just an update, to be honest. Kinsing exploits vulnerabilities in containers and servers to deploy backdoors and crypto miners. Findings show multiple compromised servers, including Apache Tomcat, with critical flaws. So malware is being hidden in legitimate system files such as Firecashmon to hide them. Okay, the outdated version on compromised systems suggests a potential lack of maintenance by the attackers, indicating opportunity for detection and mitigation. So if you're running Apache Tomcat servers, then you might want to look into that. I'm not going to dive deeply into that because it's not something I use or cover a lot on my channel. This I think it's the same thing. Cyber criminals exploit GitHub and FileZilla to deliver cocktail malware. Okay, these titles. I'm assuming this is related to GitHub comments again. Abusing legitimate services like GitHub and FileZilla to deliver an array of steal malware and banking trojans such as Atomic, so Amos, by impersonating credible software like 1Password, Bartender 5, Pixelmator Pro. I'm guessing these are the comment ones. It's a cybersecurity firm which is tracking the activity under the moniker Git Caught Said the campaign not only highlights the misuse of authentic internet services to orchestrate cyber attacks, but also the reliance on multiple malware variants targeting Android, Mac OS, and Windows. Attack chains. Have we got? Just be careful what you're clicking on and what you're downloading. So it's GitHub repositories hosting counterfeit versions of well-known software. So yeah, if you're downloading software from GitHub, make sure that you actually get the proper site to download, the official one. I think that's it for things that need to be patched. Okay. So a new botnet sending millions of weaponized emails with Lockbit ransomware. These are going to be phishing emails. Dubbed Lockbit Black, this ransomware campaign is leveraging a botnet to distribute millions of weaponized emails, posing a significant risk to individuals. Actually, I posted and tweeted one regarding an HMRC one that I saw today, which is kind of interesting because most of them are after Microsoft credentials. This one's actually, if you're in the UK, so Inland Revenue Portal is what you use to obviously submit VAT returns, things like that, and they're phishing for them, which is kind of strange. We'll have a look at them in a bit, but so the hallmark of this campaign is to use its emails containing malicious zip attachments. I generally try and block zip attachments and just block them as they're needed, or give people permission to unblock them as they're required, or allow certain people to receive them that know what they're doing. So upon opening these zip files, victims find a compressed executable that once executed unleashes Lockbit ransomware onto the operating system. Okay, so yeah, it's ransomware. So encrypts all your data and asks for money to release it. Again, just be careful what you're clicking on. And if you look into, obviously if you search this is on GB Hackers and Security. So new botnet sending weaponized emails, search Lockbit Black. If you need to, because there's instructions on 2 IP addresses in particular identified as hosting them, but proactive measures, security awareness training. Yeah, teach people not to just open zip files and run anything on them. Strong unique passwords and multi-factor authentication. Yeah, it's not going to help you if you execute ransomware on your system. System updates and management, also not going to help you if you deliberately run a ransomware executable. Endpoint security solutions, now obviously they can help. So monitoring and detection, email filtering. If it's a zip file, blocking zip files is a good idea, or at least quarantine them so they have to be released. And obviously make sure you've got backups, they're immutable and you can recover. But with ransomware, if you take the data off your system, encrypting it might be inconvenient if you can easily restore it from a backup. But having it publicly, your data publicly made available on the internet might be a little bit inconvenient. New Linux backdoor. Let's have a look what this is. Kimsuki, is that how you say that? Kimsuki hackers deploy new Linux backdoor in attacks on South Korea. This is not the Linux backdoor I was thinking of actually. State-sponsored. This Linux malware, new Linux malware, is called Gome, and that's a version of the GoBear backdoor delivered via Trojanized software installers. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's out. Yeah, don't obviously install dodgy software. I'm trying to see if it's saying what it is. Distributed. So again, based on the analysis of the campaign, researchers believe that supply chain attacks, so software trojanized installers, fake installers, represent the preferred attack method. The choice of software to be trojanized appears to have been carefully chosen to maximize the chances of its intended South Korean-based targets. And Symantec have done a report that includes a set of indicators of compromise. If that affects you, which one am I looking at here? There's not many on Linux backdoors. Kimsuki one. So this is another one. Apparently another Linux backdoor. So they're not like backdoors, like I say, everyone like keeps saying the world's falling. You've got to run software to do it. Now that was a state-sponsored one, so you can check out the Symantec post on that. What's this one? Oh, it's the same one. Symantec unveiled a new Linux backdoor named Linux.Gourmet, which had been developed by a Springtail hacking group from North Korea, has reportedly been connected with recent malware attacks on South Korean targets. Recently misused DMARC policies for social engineering, impersonating experts on issues concerning North Korea. Okay, so it was very specific. So Trollsteel was distributed by trojanized software installers, including those for TrustPKI, NX_PRN-MAN from SJ Solutions, and I'm not even saying that, with Veraport, which was previously compromised in 2020. And the indicators of compromise are there. I'll drop that in the chat if it's something that you're interested in taking a look at. So just drop that down there if you need to grab it. What do we have next? Is it another Linux backdoor? Oh no. New cyber attack targeting Facebook business accounts. If you're a business and you have a Facebook page, let's see what the concern is on this one. Email comes phishing. The email campaign impersonates a Facebook ads team to trick users into clicking a malicious link. The email leverages social engineering tactics like the sender name spoofing and urgency to appear legitimate. Grammatical errors are a giveaway. The phishing attempt, hovering over the button reveals the true malicious URL, so it's not a very good phishing attempt. And there's an example. So within the next 24 hours, your advertising account will be restricted. So one thing to look out for if you're a business. But you should be. That's a pretty terrible phishing campaign if you can just hover over links like that. Yeah, be aware of phishing. I think we're going to cover a few more of these as well. Yeah. DocuSign. So, DocuSign's popular software for getting PDF signed and things and documents signed. So hackers prefer phishing as it exploits human vulnerabilities rather than technical flaws, which make it highly attractive. All right, so yeah, they're just explaining why they're doing it. And again, it's another phishing email. So DocuSign phishing emails targeting customers have spiked. I've seen a few of these, and this mirrors templates found on Russian cybercrime forums. Or just copy and paste them. These carefully designed fraudulent emails pretend to be legitimate document signing requests from DocuSign, but they take advantage of the fact that DocuSign is widely used and trusted. So they've censored this information out. So I'm guessing it comes from an email address that doesn't look too clever. Yeah, it's just your standard phishing attacks. Check the sender's email address. Watch out for impersonal greetings. Verify security code format. Inspect links before clicking. And use DocuSign secure document access. Yeah, DocuSign's another popular phishing target. Antidote mobile malware as Google Play update hijacks device control. Cybersecurity experts have found a new banking Trojan horse for Android smartphones, and it's called Antidote. So it pretends to be a real Google Play update app, so that people will download it. Yeah, so if you're going to update, you don't download apps to update for Google Play Store to update them. It's built in. You just click on your profile and do manage device and updates. So just be aware of that. Does it actually say what it says, what it's called? So Symantec seems to have uncovered it. Yeah, no. So yeah, don't download apps to update Google Play. Well, the app's on your phone. Use Google Play Store. It's kind of what it's for. Who are these guys? Probably should have put this in first. We've got critical memory corruption in cloud logging infrastructure enables code execution attack. Who's this? Okay, a new critical vulnerability has been discovered in FluentBit's built-in HTTP server, which has been termed Linguistic Lumberjack CVE 2024-4323. Oh, and we've got a 9.8. So that's an impressive one. It's going to be remote code execution, and it'll be unauthenticated. So exploiting this vulnerability can lead to a denial of service, information disclosure, or remote code execution. Its severity has been given as 9.8. However, this vulnerability exists in FluentBit versions 2.07 through to 3.03. The patch for this vulnerability is expected to be in the latest release of FluentBit 3.0.4. Proof of concept is obviously out in the wild. There's some Python code that can be used to crash it. So if you're using FluentBit, make sure you're on 3.0.4. What have we got next? So, doppelganger attack, malware routed via news websites and social media. So these are going to be domain typo squatting and things, so misspelt domains, I imagine. Russian influence campaign Doppelganger leverages fake news websites, so typo squatted and independent, to spread disinformation, undermining support for Ukraine. The Doppelganger campaign utilizes a three-stage redirection process. Stage 1 provides social media platforms with thumbnail and metadata. Stage 2 fetches and executes obfuscated JavaScript. And Stage 3 ultimately redirects the users to disinformation websites. So, yeah, if you're using news websites, obviously, whichever website you're using, check that you're not falling prey to domain squatting. People buy domains with typos in them all the time to trick you into clicking them. And they commonly get used in Google Ads as well. What's this now? Can't go through these much quicker. I told you there was a lot of them. New hijack loader attacks Windows with enhanced anti-evasion capabilities. So security researchers from any.run. If you're unfamiliar with any.run, if you use the free version, don't upload anything with sensitive or private information in it. If you use, because the free version is public and anybody can view what you upload to it. Basically, you put in a URL, and it will follow it, or you can upload a file and it will look at what it's doing. We can have a look at that in a bit. Hijack loader, also known as IDAT loader, first appeared in September 2023 and has since gained significant traction. It's currently ranked as the 6th most detected malware in any.run trends tracker. So, the latest version decrypts and passes a PNG image to load a second stage payload. This second stage features a modular architecture aimed at injecting the main instrumentation module. So it avoids inline API hooking, Windows Defender exclusion, user account control bypass. So we've got the indicators of compromise here. Again, I'll leave a link to this. It's just a PNG image. Interesting. So, I'll leave a link to this in the description. Since it has the indicators of compromise there. What are we on next? Okay, a lot of these are phishing style type of attacks. Windows Quick Assist abused in Black Bastard ransomware attacks. And so Windows Quick Assist is basically where you can get someone to help you out and connect to your computer for you. Okay, so Microsoft's been investigating this campaign since mid-April 2024. So it's the last few weeks. The threat group tracked as Storm 1811 started their attacks by email bombing the target after subscribing their addresses to various email subscription services. And once their email boxes are flooded with unsolicited messages, the threat actors call them while impersonating Microsoft technical support or attacked companies' IT or help desk staff to remediate spam issues. So during this phishing attack, the attackers tricked victims into granting them access to their Windows devices. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, by launching the Quick Assist, the remote tool and screen sharing tool that's built into Windows. Once the user allows access, the threat actor runs scripted curl command to download a series of batch files or zip files used to deliver malicious payload. So yeah, don't give people access to your computer. If it's your IT support people, then you should have ways of verifying them. It's not the first time I have heard of people giving people access to their computers. I'm not going to jump into these too much. There's multiple vulnerabilities in Honeywell virtual UOC lets attackers execute remote code. So this is industrial controls and things, I believe. Just double check. It will be because it's Honeywell. Yeah. So Honeywell's Control Edge Virtual Unit Operations Center. Allow attackers to execute remote code without authentication. Yeah, so if you're running Honeywell Industrial Control Systems, are you in that industry? So in response to the findings, Honeywell has updated the virtual UOC to address the identified vulnerabilities. So if you're using Honeywell industrial controllers, just update to the latest firmware. I know it might sound easier than said, but the patch is available for them. What are we on next? So, if you're in the UK, there's been loads of everybody in the world will have been spamming your comms companies, saying warning, warning, warning. You need to have your lines replaced and everything by 2025. It's been scrapped. It was kind of obvious that this was going to happen. There was no way BT could have got this in place to replace all the copper lines. So significantly delayed. So BT, which is also responsible for EE customers, has now abandoned the timeline of completing the national switchover by the end of 2025. So instead, with the move aimed for the end of 2027. So you can probably guess at this point I've exhausted most of things that need to be patched and things like that. Nissan has suffered a data breach which has exposed 53,000 employees' data. Let's have a quick look at this. Nissan says that the personal information of more than 53,000 workers has been stolen. The huge automaker is now taking proactive steps to help those who have been affected and limit the damage that could occur from the stolen data. Private employee information was stolen and accessed without permission because of a cyber attack. So the company hasn't said exactly what information was stolen, but it's thought to include names, addresses, and maybe even bank information. In fact, they mention experience. So the way they're doing it is to, getting the members to sign up with Experian, which monitors your credit reports. So if you're monitoring, you can monitor. Wow. All your information has been put on the internet, so we recommend that you monitor your credit reports so people are not pretending to be you. Or you can monitor to see if people are pretending to be you. That's quite bad. In fact, that's quite terrible. So if you use Microsoft Azure, if you haven't seen this yet, Microsoft are going to start enforcing Azure multi-factor authentication from July. So starting in July, Microsoft will begin gradually enforcing multi-factor authentication for all users signing into Azure to administer resources. So customers will also receive additional information via email and official notifications before the MFA enforcement. So if you're using Azure, just be aware that's coming in July, and do what you need to do to get MFA enabled. Let's stay with Microsoft for a minute, because this will probably affect more people and businesses than most of the things that I've waffled on about so far. Windows Server 2019 updates fail with hex code 800F0982. What is it? So Microsoft has acknowledged a new known issue causing this month's KB 5037765 security update for Windows Server 2019, failing with those errors. Windows Server's attempt to install the May 2024 security update released May 14 faced issues during the installation progress. Okay, they're failing because the device doesn't have ENUS, so the US language pack support. So if you're in the UK and you're installing these with international English and they've not got the US language pack support, I guess in the workarounds to install it. Microsoft has yet to provide an official workaround. Yeah. Install the ENUS language pack if you are getting 800F0982 errors. And the best I've saved till last is what Microsoft's getting up to. And this is ridiculous. This is a bleeping computer article. In fact, let me just find BBC Microsoft recall. In fact, that'll do Sky News. Essential cookie on there. Make it a bit bigger. Right. So we'll take a look at this one first. Well, this is the article on Bleeping Computer. Microsoft's new Windows 11 recall is a privacy nightmare. You may have heard of this already, you may have not. And it's basically screen recording every 2 seconds. So Microsoft's announcement of the new AI-powered Windows 11 recall feature has sparked a lot of concern, with many thinking that it's created massive privacy risks and a new attack vector that threat actors can exploit to steal data. So revealed during a Monday AI event, the feature is designed to help recall information you've looked at in the past, making it easily accessible via a simple search. So while it's only available on Copilot Plus PCs running Snapdragon X ARM processors, Microsoft says they're working with Intel and AMD to bring the feature to all Windows 11 devices. Recall works by taking a screenshot of your active window every few seconds, recording everything you do in Windows for up to 3 months by default. Let me read that again. Recall works by taking a screenshot of your active window every few seconds, recording everything you do in Windows for up to 3 months. Yeah, no thank you. I'm running Windows 11 on this PC for doing videos on, but that's all I use it for. But yeah, we're going back to Windows 10 at this stage. So these snapshots will be analysed by the on-device Neural Processing Unit NPU and an AI model to extract data from the screenshot. The data will be saved in semantic index, allowing the Windows user to browse through the snapshot history or search human language queries. And I've just seen a comment on this from Mac. No thank you indeed. Yeah, so flick this over to Sky News. I think BBC News covered this. So Microsoft AI feature investigated by the UK watchdog over screenshots. Well, that escalated quickly. A new Copilot Plus feature is being described as a goldmine for criminals after the Information Commissioner's Office, or ICO, confirmed that it's been investigating Microsoft's updated software. And this is today, at 13:20 UK time. A new Microsoft feature that screenshots users' laptops every 2 seconds is being investigated by the ICO. The feature will record everything a user does by taking screenshots every few seconds. It then allows the user to scroll back through their activity and search. Wow. However, after security concerns were raised around the feature, the ISO said, "We're making inquiries with Microsoft to understand the safeguards in place to protect the user's data." So from what I gather, this is... this information's supposed to be recorded locally, and it's not supposed to be uploaded to the internet. Yeah, no. No. So Recall is designed to help you easily find and remember things you've seen using natural language, according to Microsoft, using AI and photographic memory. For example, if a user is shopping online and spotted a nice brown leather bag, days later they could search for brown leather bag in Recall. It would then pull up screenshots of the times they were looking at brown leather bag and link them to the websites they were on. It would also search through pictures, documents, presentations and files and pull up anything relevant on their laptop. We're not on April the 1st, are we? It may even suggest actions the user will want to take in relation to their search. However, one cybersecurity expert described the new feature as a grab-and-go target for criminals. Yeah, if you... I mean... Does that mean if you leave a PC unlocked, anybody can search anything that you've been on over the last 3 months? If you download some dodgy software, can that history be retrieved? With this feature, suddenly endpoints will become more lucrative target. A leading security engineer at Checkpoint, a cybersecurity firm. So Mark says, it's a shame because it sounds super useful, but just know this will be abused without a doubt. Convenience for privacy and security at its best. Convenience and security in the same sentence. I can see this being a nightmare. Oh, there we go. Microsoft said the files will all be stored locally on the user's laptops and not accessed by Microsoft or anyone who does not have the device access. If you leave your laptop in a car and it gets stolen, if you've not got a password on it or a weak password or people like me know how to get around them, yeah, that could be a problem. So, however, the files won't be censored in a way that the files won't be censored in any way when they're stored, meaning that personal information like visible passwords or visible medical information will be kept in the screenshots. Wow. If a user's laptop is hacked into, there are concerns that extremely sensitive data can become easily accessible. No shit. Imagine the goldmine of information that will be stored on a machine and what threat actors can do with it. 3 months worth of screenshots every 2 seconds. This feature increases the risk of scams by potentially allowing hackers to understand their victims' lifestyle. As a hacker, the first thing I'll do is go and look at all the screenshots of what you've been doing recently to understand your behaviour. Microsoft told the BBC a would-be hacker would need to gain physical access to the device, unlock it, and sign in before they could access any saved screenshots. Yeah, a lot of people don't even put passwords on devices. You can get free BitLocker encryption if you know what you're doing. Disk encryption won't save you unless it's done properly. Yeah. So, IT people would probably have BitLocker encryption turned on. Would Random Joe Blogs have it turned on? In which case, whatever the password is, it'd be quite easy to break it. So yeah, basically anyone with physical access to the device, well, it's unlocked and signed in. Can you imagine being on a train and leaving your laptop open and going to the toilet and coming back and someone's like just grabbed all your screenshots? Wow. In a blog post about the new feature, Microsoft has also said the user is always in control and can delete individual snapshots, adjust and delete ranges of times in settings, or pause at any point. They can also stop the feature recording specific apps and websites, if they know how. I mean, a lot of people don't even know how to use computers properly, and they use them as a tool to do the job. Yeah, wow. So bleeping computer has to say on this, if anything. Okay, Microsoft, so this is a bit different. Microsoft says that all of this data is encrypted using BitLocker and tied to the user's Windows account and is not shared with other users on the same device. So does that mean BitLocker has to be enabled for this? Still, it's definitely something I wouldn't turn on. Again, while this sounds fun and interesting, it immediately raised concerns about obvious privacy risks and whether Microsoft plans on gobbling up all of this data. Yeah. However, Microsoft says recall has been designed, this is what we just spoke about, so that all of the data is saved directly on the user's device in an encrypted format. Said unencrypted. So, with BitLocker, yeah. Until I actually play with this, I'd need to look at how it does actually work. Including if it's enabled. So, I'm guessing that's just 100% going to be the first thing that people disable. Is it going to be switched on by default? Knowing Microsoft. So recall is a key part of what makes Copilot Plus PCs special, and Microsoft built privacy into recall's design from the ground up. On Copilot Plus PCs powered by a Snapdragon X series processor, you'll see the recall taskbar icon after you first activate your device. You can use the icon to open recall settings and make choices about what snapshots recall collects and stores on your device. You can limit which snapshots recall collects. For example, you can select specific apps or websites visited in a supported browser. Guessing the first supported browser is going to be Edge. To filter out your snapshots. In addition, you can pause snapshots on demand from recall icon in the system tray. If you remember to. Are you always going to remember to pause it? Yeah, I'm really not for this. Which brings us back to what you said, Mark. It's a shame because it sounds super useful, but yeah. Microsoft says it will not create screenshots of Microsoft Edges in private windows and other Chromium-based browsers. Are content protected by DRM. However, they have not confirmed whether other browsers' private modes like Firefox will be supported. Of course it will be. They couldn't Couldn't prevent Firefox from not being able to do that, surely. On Monday, in a press event, Yusuf Mehdi, Corporate Vice President and Consumer Chief Marketing Officer, assured journalists that Microsoft is taking a very conservative approach with recall. Sounds like it. We're going to keep your recall index private and local and secure and just on the device. So, but they've already said if the device is open and unlocked, you can access them screenshots. Yeah, that's just one dodgy phishing email away, because if your device is unlocked and you've got your BitLocker keys in, that data's in plain text. If it is unencrypted, if it's grabbed over the internet. Microsoft has also reiterated to Bleeping Computer that the data for recall will only be available locally and not stored in the cloud, with the company once again restating that this data is not accessed by Microsoft. Microsoft has also started to share more technical details, such as group policies that can be used to disable recall company-wide. So, yeah, if you're an IT guy in charge of a company, this is going to be the first thing you want to do. Especially with, like, say, people clicking on phishing links and shit like that. Cybersecurity experts and regular users are still concerned. Microsoft promises have not done much to reassure the cybersecurity community or its customers with our tweet regarding this new feature, receiving over 90 comments, all negative. I'll bet. Future data breaches are going to be wild. Yeah, you're not kidding. So, why are most cybersecurity experts, researchers and analysts or anyone with a clue about IT so worried about this feature? If it's an internet, so Mark said, if it's an internet connected device, it only takes a button to take that data, and even if it's encrypted, it can be broken in the future. But if it's encrypted using BitLocker, when the user's logged in, it's not encrypted. Obviously, the files are unencrypted when using BitLocker. So if you access that file, you click on something and you access that file and it gets sent somewhere, it gets sent unencrypted. This is just a security nightmare. So first and foremost, large companies have a history of exploiting users' data for their own profit, making it hard for users to trust Microsoft when they say they won't access the recall data. Oh. So large companies have a history of exploiting users. So, yeah, we'll talk about Microsoft here, I guess. Users not alone, as the United Kingdom's Data Protection Agency, the ICO, is also contacting Microsoft to ensure that the user's data will properly be safeguarded and not used by the company. I mean, this is interesting. What if Microsoft turn around and say, yeah, no. Does that mean Windows becomes illegal in the UK? I mean, Microsoft is just too big to police anymore. We expect organisations to be transparent with users about how their data is being used and only process personal data to the extent that it's necessary to achieve a specific purpose. Industry must consider data protection from the outset and rigorously assess and mitigate risks to people's rights and freedoms before bringing products to the market. Reads a press statement for the ICO, the Information Commissioner's Office in the UK. We're making inquiries for Microsoft to understand the safeguards. Even if we accept that Microsoft will not access recall data, there are still massive security and privacy implications with this product. Microsoft admits the feature performs no content moderation, meaning it will gobble up anything it sees, including passwords, the password manager, or your account numbers, banking websites. Wow. Oh, if you're writing a Word document, writing a confidential agreement, a screenshot of that content will be created too. If you have a single PC and share it with others, then you may want to be careful about what pictures or videos you look at, as guess what? Those will be recorded as well. So yes, you can block apps from being screenshotted by this feature, but most people will just let it run without mucking around without these feature settings. Yeah, most people won't even be aware those feature settings are there. As I say, IT people will be. Average Joe won't. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, though. See, this is exactly what I was saying. Enabled by default. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see anything on that, unfortunately. That's I've not seen anything to confirm, but it probably will be. Unless like the ICO and stuff might force them to have it in a initially disabled state, which you can enable, and then silly people can switch it on. And this is what we were saying, what we was just discussing here. So, for example, a threat actor or malware could simply steal recall database and upload it to their own servers for analysis. This information could then be used to extort users or potentially breach user accounts if credentials are exposed. Yeah, I'll just extort you. Pay us so much money, or we're going to release this data. Just upload the lot, and then you pay them, and they release it anyway. So, cybersecurity expert Kevin Bowman. Okay, so known to be an outspoken critic of Microsoft at times, also expressed concern about how this feature creates massive attack surface, likening to a keylogger baked into Windows. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So if you look at what has happened historically with info stealing malware, malicious software snuck onto PCs, it's pivoted to automatically steal browser passwords stored. And he's got a blog post on it. I might pull that up in a second while I'm doing this. But yeah, you can see that's the way it's going, isn't it? Unless governments and countries and people reach out and say, you can't turn that on by default. I can see that's the way it'd go, to be honest. Yeah, doesn't it? And it's not only information stealing malware, as enterprise targeting malware like TrickBot had previously included modules that would steal a domain's Active Directory database for offline cracking of credentials. There's nothing to stop malware from taking a similar approach and stealing recall databases as well. Well, yeah, if you type in credentials into your password manager, into your browser, or into a website, I'm guessing you'd be able to ask AI to find them screenshots with credentials on them. And then, obviously, you can, just because it's a screenshot, you can still capture the text. So Microsoft has always taken the stance with vulnerabilities and attacks that once a device is compromised, all bets are off and security boundaries are thrown out the window. Basically, you got infected or fell for a social engineering attack, so it's your fault, all bad things will happen to you. So I was going to say the least that they could do would not allow it by default and give warnings if they do. Yeah, absolutely. It should definitely be turned off by default. And the warning thing, yeah, what a good idea. As soon as you click on it, warning, do you know how stupid you're being by letting us record all this information? Do it at your own risk. However, as Microsoft is one of, if not the largest caretakers of consumer data and computer security, it seems irresponsible to introduce additional risk into an already risky environment. While we can go on expressing how this feature is a massive privacy risk, I will instead leave you with a quote from Microsoft's recent pledge to prioritize security above all else. So, if you're faced with the trade-off between security and another priority, your answer is clear. Do security. In some cases, this will mean prioritizing security above other things that we do, such as releasing new features or providing ongoing support for legacy systems. And the Microsoft CEO said in an email to Microsoft employees, this is key to advancing both our platform quality and capabilities such that we can protect the digital estates and build a safer world. Yeah, okay. And you can see there's loads of related articles on this. It's another bleeping computer one. Yep. Microsoft fixes bug behind incorrect BitLocker encryption error. Mark, what did you just say about that? What is this? Get off. So Kevin Bowman, if you don't know him, he's very well known in the industry. So Gossy the dog. For those who aren't aware, Microsoft have decided to bake essentially an info stealer into base Windows OS, and wow. Hey Mark, guess what? What's highlighted on the screen? Microsoft decided to bake essentially an info stealer into base Windows OS and enable by default. The idea allows you to rewind back in time to see what you were doing, say 11 p.m. 2 months ago. It also classes almost everything you're doing, seeing and typing. This is instantly searchable. Microsoft's store page for PCs points out it will not hide information such as passwords, financial account numbers. So, for example, if you're logging into online banking, the information around your account numbers, balances, purchases, etc., will enter Recall's databases. This fundamentally changes the relationship with you and your Microsoft Windows computer. It introduces a real risk to you. The customers let break down what's happening. So you may look at this. This is all just obviously on this article. So you may look at this and think that surely there's some form of safeguard rails, and there are. In the video above, you'll see Satya point out that the processing data is done locally on the device. In the FAQ, they point out there's some circumstances where the data won't be recorded. So, for example, when passwords are visible on screen. And this is where he's going on about info stealers. So if you look at what's happened historically with info stealer malware, malicious software snuck onto PCs, it's pivoted automatically to steal browser passwords stored locally. So in other words, if a malicious threat actor gains access to a system, they already steal the important databases that are stored locally. So they can just extend this to steal information recorded by Copilot's recall feature. Microsoft themselves heavily talk about the risk of info stealers. The scale of the problem is immense. Why am I not surprised? They know what they're doing. Of course they do. So the scale of the problem is immense. Stolen credentials running billions and large portions come from info stealer Trojans on Windows systems. Yeah, send an email to someone and get them to open it. If you've hacked somebody's account that's a supplier to somebody else, then you'll send an email from someone that they think they know, and they're going to open it. So hope you've got good security practices in place. So Microsoft offers solutions to this, and stolen credentials make a major part of the ransomware problem. Indeed, Microsoft themselves have fallen victim to Trojans. For example, back in 2020, Microsoft had a security incident involving an info stealer, which led to access to what became Azure for Operators, which in the recent CSRB report is attributed to China. So, same nation state. The same threat actor, Storm 055A, went on to gain access to the US State Department email in Microsoft 365. Now scale Microsoft's internal info stealer woes to them having months' worth of Microsoft engineering information. Yeah, that's a scary thought. Now scale that globally. Microsoft are inventing a new security nightmare using Copilot, which will undoubtedly lead to increased fraud for consumers and other woes for businesses. Well, what do you say to that? That's just unreal. I think I've covered that more than enough. It's like 10 to 9. I've been at this for an hour and a half. That's just absolutely terrifying, to be honest, considering how many businesses we look after. We get calls from people all the time that have like done stupid things and ran things on the computer and had the routers hacked and email accounts hacked, and yeah. Like I say, you leave your computer unattended. That's just a good reason for people to run over to your computer. Hey, let's pull the screenshots up and see what this guy's been doing. Yeah, don't ever leave a computer unlocked if that's enabled. I think I've covered everything on here that I wanted to look at. There's things that I thought I should bring up first. Here we have. There's literally loads and loads of stuff in this. So, you know, FoxIt Reader, Windows Quick Assist, D-Link RCE, Nissan Data Breach. I'm not even diving into that. It's getting too late, and I've been at DTX all day today, and I've got to go back tomorrow. Apple, Cinterion, Ivanti, Kimsuki, however you say that. Windows updates, millions of IoT. Microsoft to mandate multi-factor authentication for all Azure users. New Linux backdoors. Facebook accounts being targeted. Again, Azure. Covered DocuSign. SonicWall. Yeah, good. We're getting to the coming to the end here. Let me QNAP's covered. Now this is a weird one. We'll take a look at it in a minute. Might as well, just while we're at the end of this, let me just get all these off my list. We'll just start with Microsoft for a minute with this one. Hey, where'd that go? Yeah. So staying with Microsoft for a minute. Microsoft Build 2024, everything announced. So Microsoft Copilot expands with autonomous agents. So Microsoft had a lot to say about Windows and AI, and a little to say about custom emoji. So the company, like just about everyone else in the industry, is charging hard at cramming AI into every nook and cranny it can find. That means Copilot watching your screen to help you play Minecraft, or giving you AI agent co-workers. So I must have gone over this for So Microsoft says Copilot AI agents can soon be used as something like virtual employees that businesses can use for menial tasks like monitoring emails. This is all down to this screen recording, isn't it? Carrying out a series of automated tasks, helping with employee onboarding, doing data entry. So all without being prompted to do so. The new Copilot capabilities won't take over jobs, just the boring parts. Isn't data entry a whole job description for some people? Yeah, it is. What's this 5.3? The company rolled out 5.3 Vision, a new version of 5.3 IA model announced in April. It's multi-model and can read textbook. It can read text and look at pictures. But it's a small language model that's compact enough to work on mobile device. Image analysis is one of the big use cases that AI companies have been pushing, and smartphones are about as ideal a place to use them as anywhere. So Phi 3 Vision is part of Microsoft Phi 3 family models that companies announced in April and is available for preview now. Microsoft Edge can translate your videos while you're watching them. We'll see how that works, because most things can't understand me. So Microsoft Edge browsing is getting an AI-powered real-time video translation feature that can dub videos from sites like YouTube, LinkedIn, Reuters, or Coursera. The feature works for a handful of languages, offering translation from Spanish to English or vice versa. So that's like a more fitting use of AI. The feature is coming soon, and more language and video platforms will be added. Custom emoji for Microsoft Teams. Get ready for some more disco parrots and cutouts of your teammates in Microsoft Teams, because the company's adding the ability to add your own emoji in Microsoft's Slack competitor. Like in Slack, that silly emoji parrot. Like in Slack, admins can limit who is allowed to add emojis, and they won't be visible outside of your organization's domain, and they're coming in July. Is this still Microsoft related? Qualcomm's roughly Mac Mini sized $899 Snapdragon dev kit for Windows. Oh yeah, so it has a Snapdragon X Elite chip inside, 32 gig of RAM and 512 gig SSD, and plenty of ports, so it's not clear if anyone can buy it. There's something I missed. I'll cover it now, actually. So we'll come back to that in 1 second. There is something I missed. Git RCE. If you're using Git, make sure it's up to date. Let me cover this. So Git's a popular tool if you're familiar with GitHub and things like that. It's used to clone repositories to your computer. And there's a proof of concept has been released for critical Git vulnerabilities CVE 2024-32002. Threats rated medium. So it's Git. Critical vulnerability known as, just said that. Distributed version control system for source code management. Right, so if you're using Git, make sure you're using the latest one, and patch it now. So it's remote code execution, and it's got a CVSS version 3 score of 9.0, and can be exploited by an attacker who could draft submodules in a particular way that can lead to writing files not into the submodule's work tree, built into a .git directory. So this situation could allow for writing a hook that will be executed once a clone operation is running, giving the user no opportunity to inspect the code that's being So it's being executed. So the proof of concept is released. Affected organizations should review the GitHub advisory and apply any necessary updates or mitigation. I just wanted to bring that up while I remembered it, just as I was reading about Git on there. So Microsoft File Explorer is a Git repository. I mean, if Git's vulnerable, does Windows become vulnerable? If it wasn't found? So you'll be able to use Microsoft's File Explorer to keep track of your code projects soon, as the company is integrating Git into the file system browser. So developers will be able to keep track of file status, commit messages, and their current branch from within File Explorer. The app also now supports 7-zip and tar compression natively. Not if you're using the... I did a video that shows you how to bring back the full right-click context menu, and if you do, these options are not available. They're only available in the official one, which is the compressed version. Windows adds AI-powered clipboard features in PowerToys. So Microsoft's new advanced paste feature is available now as part of the PowerToys suite for Windows 11, giving you the ability to convert the contents of your clipboard as you go. So you'll be able to trigger the advanced paste menu by pressing Windows plus Shift plus V. And then from there you can convert your paste to formats like plain text, Markdown, JSON, using further keyboard shortcuts. You can also convert by typing into the prompt box, which has other capabilities like altering or summarizing the text before you paste it. AI. The catch: you'll need an Open API key and credits on your OpenAI account for the AI part. So those are the new features that are coming up to that. To Windows, some available today. That's off. I don't know what this is. Okay, so that's just CISA warns of hacking, exploiting Chrome and end-of-life D-Link bugs. They've just added them to the KEV database and known exploited vulnerabilities. So yeah, that's out the window. God, how many of these? This is what I meant. There was a lot of articles here. So LastPass, if you still use it, obviously they had the breach, and now they're encrypting URLs in the password vault for better security. LastPass announced it will start encrypting URLs stored in user vaults for enhanced privacy and protection against data breaches and unauthorized access. Too little, too late, maybe. Microsoft Windows AI, we've covered that. Threat actors leveraged Bitbucket artifacts to breach AWS accounts. There's been a lot going on this week. In a recent investigation into Amazon Web Services AWS security breaches, Mandiant has uncovered a troubling scenario. Client-specific secrets were leaked from Atlassian's code repository tool, Bitbucket, and exploited by threat actors to gain unauthorized access to AWS accounts. So, yeah, the secrets have been leaked. This revelation highlights the potential vulnerabilities in Bitbucket's secured variables. They can be leaked in CI/CD pipelines, exposing organizations to specific risks. And yeah, that's how to do it. So store secrets in dedicated protection when using Bitbucket pipelines. Store secrets in dedicated secrets manager. Bitwarden's good for that. Closely review Bitbucket artifact objects and deploy code scanning through the pipeline lifecycle to catch secrets. Yeah, so I use in your pipelines, scan your code for credentials. So this is kind of a list of stuff that I wanted to look at. I started off bookmarking to go through, but then there was just so much. Confluence, I covered that one, didn't I? Yeah, if you're using Confluence, CV 2024. Oh, maybe I didn't. I thought I had. Did I not cover this? No, I didn't. The widely used team workspace corporate wiki Confluence has discovered to have a critical remote code execution. This vulnerability has been assigned CVE 2024-21683 with a severity of 8.3. I haven't. So Max says he likes Atlassian. I've never used it, in all fairness. So it's been fixed in the latest version. So yeah, if you're using Confluence, make sure you're running the latest version. So it does not require any user interaction to be successful. Okay. So it allows an authenticated. Every time you read these, they're just as if it's just, yeah. Allows an authenticated attacker to execute code. So yeah, if you're running Confluence, make sure you're on the latest one. I don't know, I missed that. Oh, it was the Git RC I did. I'm not going to cover that again because it was there and I did bookmark it. Git vulnerabilities recently come to light, posing significant risk to users who use the version control system. It's free if you want to try it. Not sure what you'd use it for. I suppose I should have a look at it at some stage, but it's not the first time I've seen bugs about it. I might have, yeah, I've just never used it, but it's not the first time I've seen that. Have security issues. There's something else I didn't pull up here. Let me just come back. Well, how do you say that? Security researcher Meow Mix unveiled a new tool named okay, yeah, I remember this. Unveiled a new tool named Let Me Own, designed to harvest credentials from LSASS process on Microsoft Windows systems. The tool's raised significant concerns within the cybersecurity community due to its advanced evasion techniques and its ability to bypass everyday endpoint security solutions. To monitor for this, it's available, is it? Is this? Can't remember if this is on GitHub. But anyway, obviously, if you're running business systems, you should be monitoring what's on your system. And the easiest way to check for it is to basically just look for the process name. Where is it? Yeah, so one of the simplest detection methods is automating process events for Let Me Own. However, defenders should know that the process names can be easily modified, and they would be. Again, this has got to get dropped onto your machine. Looking for process query in the event log for ID 4608, which can be used to obtain the process ID of, yeah, so there's various mitigations for this that you can monitor on the system. Get off that. Dropbox, Google Drive attacks. These are the same thing. Phishing emails again. Yeah. So phishing email with malicious zip attachments initiates the attack. Contains an executable disguised as an Excel file using left to right override characters. So are you showing here? So the file name appears to have a harmless extension, e.g. .xls, while it's actually an executable. Again, just avoid running Just avoid running things like that. Be careful what you're running. Glad these are going down. This was a strange one. Steelerium malware targeting Wi-Fi networks. Outlook to steal login credentials. A new strain of malware known as Steelerium has been identified. It targets Wi-Fi networks and Microsoft Outlook. So a newly discovered malware making the way to cybersecurity community. I've never done that. This dual targeted strategy makes it particularly dangerous as it can compromise personal and professional data. According to a recent report by Monthreat, the malware is designed to infiltrate Wi-Fi networks and extract sensitive information, including login credentials. Steelerium is an open source theft tool available on GitHub. This malware can steal information from browsers, cryptocurrencies, and other various. The malware operates by first gaining access to Wi-Fi networks, often through phishing attacks. Alright. Yeah. That was confusing. Yeah. So it's a phishing attack. Strange, confusing name, title. Just a bit confusing. Right. How about done? So previously known for Chinese hackers hide on military and government networks for 6 years. Previously unknown threat actor dubbed Unfading Sea Haze has been targeting military and government entities in the South China Sea region since 2018, remaining undetected all this time. Grander Hero malware hijacks Outlook client. Is this another phishing attack? Yeah. Me. Come back. What does this do? X-Force identified a phishing campaign targeting Latin American users since March 2024, where emails impersonate legitimate entities like tax and utility services, urging recipients to click links for invoices or account statements. Clicking the link redirects the users in specific countries to a fake PDF icon, while downloading the malicious zip archive containing an executable. See, these phishing things are just always going to be an issue. Block zip archives. So, malware searches for targeted banking applications, cryptocurrency wallets based on predefined settings. Yeah. Did I read that wrong again? Hijacks Outlook client to send phishing emails. That's not what that read. So yeah, beware of zip files and things containing zip files. Even if you do know the person that sent the zip file, if they've had their email hacked, if you know him. If they send you a zip file, bring the person in question and ask them. Avoid Manticore attacking organisations with destructive wiper malwares. So wipers obviously deleted data. This is going to be phishing attacks as well. Yeah, so you obviously need to be careful what you're doing. Stop running shit on your computer. Okay, the last few things, which are just pretty much news articles. So, Intercontinental Exchange to pay 10 million penalty over VPN breach. The International Continental Exchange, ICE, will pay a 10 million penalty to settle charges brought by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, after failing to ensure its subsidiaries promptly reported VPN security breach. Fortune 500. It's a fair penalty. This one I've just looked at, innit? Is it? No, this is a different one. Omnivision Technologies cyber attack. Hackers stole personal data in ransomware attack. Omnivision Technologies Inc. OVT recently disclosed a significant security breach that comprised its clients' personal data. So the company is known for advanced digital imaging solutions. It reported that the incident occurred between September the 4th and September the 30th, 2023. During this period, unauthorized third party managed to encrypt certain OVT systems, leading to the theft of personal information. Again, the exact nature of the stolen data has not been specified. So getting hacked is a thing. Hackers are claiming access to the Qatar National Bank database. A group of hackers has claimed to have accessed the database of Qatar National Bank, one of the largest financial institutions in the Middle East. The announcement was made via a post on Twitter by the account Momthreat. According to the post, hackers allege they have obtained sensitive information including customer data, financial records and internal communications. The exact scope of the breach remains unclear, but hackers have threatened to release the data if their demands are unmet. And they've yet to release an official statement. With that, I'm about done. It's been a long day. It's 20 past 9. So, thank you for anybody that tuned in. It's always nice not to waffle on to myself and have people to speak to. So, Mac, once again, thank you very much for turning up. I will be back again on Wednesday, same time, 19:30 GMT. So, thank you very much. And with that, I'm out.